So I've been meaning to make a video talking about my car, the things that I've done to get to where I'm at, to kind of show people visually my car and everything that's been done, and see what you guys think. All right, so here is my engine bay. Pretty clean. I'd like it to be cleaner. Might try to work on that. But we'll start off with the simple basics. 1-inch aluminum strut bar that I made. Does it work? Don't know. I like the way it looks. So, and of course, eBay catch can, but I did modify it a little bit. I put a stainless steel baffling, which is basically just stainless steel scrub wool. And then I put a inside nipple in the can with a hose that goes about 3/4 or more of the way down. So in order to breathe, it has to go down to the bottom and back up through the baffling. Don't know if it works. Just what I did. Just mainly was something to dress up the engine bay. Maybe going down the road soon. But then plasma or laser cut covers with, I'm using the ZZP coil packs. Controversial part, I like it. It's done me well, nothing wrong with them for me. So the fuel system is the OTTP fuel return, which I like. I like the where it's at and how it works, honestly. And then paired with the 80-pound injectors, I'm actually going to go bigger. When I was 380 wheel, they were pretty much maxed out. So those will be getting upgraded this year. Everything on top of a Category 5 Portworx head by Josh Billheimer. Completely redone, valve job, surfaced with, I think it's 80 or 82 pound springs from OTTP. And highly recommend if you're wanting to push your car to higher levels. Ported head will definitely help you, especially on a supercharged car. But everything was dipped by my buddy at Devious Dips on Facebook. You could find him. Thousands of different films, anything you can fit or anything you can imagine. Like this film, it's actually painted, and then the black is the film. So these could have been blue flames, green flames. Just a endless combination of stuff you can do. Watt box wiring in there. There is my boost gauge for the AEM. Not the gauge, but the boost solenoid. And then I have the M62 with the Christmas tree ported outlet, and it has a ported inlet that is offered by Category 5 if you want one of those. LS4 throttle body with a custom 3.5-inch intake that I made. One piece. Highly recommend, if you can do it, get a 3.5. I think the only one that offers it's OTTP. I don't care what people say, intake does help, and especially a 3.5-inch intake. Down there's my custom single pass. You can see it coming from the pump into the passenger side inlet, hooked up to the outlet. So there you can see the top of my heat exchanger. It is very large, barely fits in there. And I even modified my license plate bracket because we're required to have them. July, that law is no more. But I trimmed the top of the license plate, tucked it up so it clears, doesn't block any airflow. I originally drilled 2 holes because I was going to zip tie it or put bolts in it. Then I figured out, hey, a little pop rivet there. Holds it right in, no problem. So clean look. And I was like, well, you know what? Let's add airflow there. So less air drag, hopefully. I took out the fog light So I don't know, I would think it acts like an air ram for your intake. Would not suggest that on a daily. And I always carry my filter sock with me, so if I'm on a trip and it pours down rain, those outerwears, filter socks are very recommended. Especially even if you daily with the fog light in, just get one of those filter covers and it'll end a lot of your hassles. Protect your filter, keep the water out. Oh, also in the head, I have ZZP Stage 3 cams. So that paired with the ported head, and I put a ATI, might not be able to see it down there, damper, and I have the 2.6 pulley that I bought off of eBay. I believe people in the groups make them too, but it's an aluminum hub. But yeah, I think that's about everything. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but everything I could think of. So for front suspension, I have YYZ springs on FE5 struts, which I guess now are discontinued. So there are some good options out there being offered by other companies, OTTP being one of them, with some Bilstein struts. So definitely you can see them about any of that. I have Moog sway bar end links with Moog Problem Solver tie rod ends. I have the OTTP leading control arm bushing with the OTTP spherical rear bushing. I also have replacement OEM AC Delco ball joints. I did some research. They were said to be the best over Moog, and so I went with those. So for my slick setup, they are 24.5 by 8.5 by 15. And I actually had a problem with those fitting. Let's see. I actually had a problem with those fitting. They were trying to rub the strut, so I had to run a little spacer. It's a decent spacer. Will not be safe to fit without ARP head studs or ARP studs. So I switched to ARP studs to be safe. I'm running Napa axles. I've never broke one. They have been fine so far. And then just some eBay drilled and slotted rotors I bought like 7 years ago. I powder coated my brake calipers a long time ago. I have Moog sway bar bushings back there. I try to keep the suspension as fresh and tight as possible. And I also have OTTP steering rack spacers, which I'll lift the car up more and we'll go underneath. All right, so this is the underneath. Here is, I have the OTTP front training mount with the OTTP rear training mount rotated. I have a magnetic drain plug, very important. Just kidding. I am running a GMPP clutch for the last couple years. No issues, no slips. So far it's been great. I have a ZZP mid-length header with there's the oil sensor for the oil pressure gauge. And then it has the downpipe connected to a Corsa catback. So kind of a rare exhaust to find, but I do love the sound of my car. And there's the OTTP fuel return hose I got routed there. But a little better peek at the heat exchanger down there. Car is definitely dirty. I never got a chance to clean it before I put it away. There is the Varimax pump that I run in the stock modified holder. It's cut down to size. Has a quick adapter plug and play, so you don't have to wire anything. But yeah, I got a LSD trans that I actually bought off of Josh Billheimer. Very low mileage, so it's definitely been a help drag racing. But yeah, I think that is everything up front. In the back here, I have the OTTP rear sway bar, the YYZ springs again, Bilstein rear shocks. There's the part number. Actually, this car rides as good or better than stock. It has a nice feel going into the corners. I mean, I absolutely love it. I couldn't ask for a better ride. It's a nice performance mix. I have the AEM green pump in the fuel tank, and those are my drag bags. Those are on a different video, how I got the drag bags mounted up. But yeah, pretty simple, nothing special, just some updated stuff and a few things to make the car feel, ride better. Yeah, so we'll go inside. All right, so here's the inside of my car. Honestly, nothing too special. I just have the AEM oil pressure, AEM air to fuel ratio, and AEM boost gauge. And I have the Aeroforce. Not sure if I like the location of that yet. Still trying to decide. Not a fan of having that many gauges, but they're all useful. So, and I actually have the color changing cluster from Melissa. I actually like it. I like how it matches the gauges. Pretty happy with it, honestly. And everything stock radio. I have stock shift boot with the OTTP shifter, and I actually have the OTTP aluminum base bushings, so trying to make the shifter feel as solid as possible. I put in the Momo e-brake, and that's a Redline boot. The e-brake actually feels so much more solid than the factory. When you mount them right, they feel a lot better, and that's very useful being drag racing. So, and I put actually the armrest in just because of it's comfortable on trips. Honestly, I like it. So I have a set of L&F seats that I bought off of Josh Billheimer. Very clean, low mileage. I like the way they look, so that's why I bought them. But I think that's honestly just about everything in the car. There's not much in here, just a clean stock with some gauges. So, yep. All right, well, that was the tour of the car. I tried to cover everything that I can think of. My goals for 2020 is a TVS with a 2.6, an electric water pump. I'm getting rid of the balance shaft chain. So no more balance shafts. I don't have to worry about my RPMs anymore. And I'm also adding the OTTP subframe bars, I think they're called, to stiffen everything up. I like a nice solid feel, so I'm excited to see what those do. I will be covering the water pump install, hopefully who it's by, how to do it. And we'll see how that goes, but super excited to see where I end up. My best on the M62 was 349 horse. The best on the H62 was 381 horse. All done by tuned at ZZP on ZZP's dyno, running my Ditto NTO5 tires, which I might have to get rid of those in the spring. They're getting worn and they're kind of having a hard time holding now, so I'm thinking with the TVS I might need something a little stickier. But yeah, and definitely if you need a tune, see Al McClure, message him at ZZP Performance. I can't say enough for how much Al has helped me. So I mean, yeah, hit up Al, ZZP for parts, tuning, and he is, in my opinion, the best for tuning, especially LSJs, supercharged LSJTs. He's the man to go see. So that's all I got for today. So hopefully I'll be updating with some new videos here soon in the future. See you then.